Word document. Let me see if I can open some of them. Okay. Let me share my screen. Are you able to see this, website?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. So I'm just risking it to expose that if there is a vulnerabilities in my, and this has been written, in completely in Python. Okay. The front end is, just forget about the front end. Back end is everything is in Python. Okay. Uh, Search Google. Okay. So there is no such thing. Mistakes are there in my website. Okay. Getting my point? Okay. Let me show you something. And there are many things that we can say. If there is any configuration file exposed on my website. Okay. Let's see. You want to know the precise locations of my website, where exact location where it has been accessed. It has failed because it has been blocked at the site level. Okay. So only one thing is there, XML. There is something is there which is giving you, but it is not giving you the precise locations. Okay. But no result. Okay. No result here. Okay. So this is also good. I'm not taking you to another site, purposely I'm taking to my site. I want to see the publicly exposed document. What are the documents are there which are publicly exposed? Nothing is there. Okay. I'll show you something here. If any document has been purposely kept by some organization in the last few hours or few days, okay, I'm daring to send a message to bscindia.com. Okay. I'm on, not even on VPN. But let's see if there is any publicly exposed documents are there for BSc India. They might have kept it. You don't know whether they have kept it or not. So let's have a look. Okay, there appears like a one document is there on bscindia.com and they might have kept it for purpose actually. Okay, let me see, show it here. Okay, so this document is available here. Now you'll find that, the Bombay Stock Exchange has purposely kept this file, which gives 3rd October, all this data. Okay. So this file is exposed. I'm sure this must be a public document to be exposed. So you can just have a look of it. All these companies list names are there and the transaction when this has been 3/7/2000, when the company has been created, listing date is there. I don't know why it is here, but okay. Now, what is the close price, previous day, returns, and all these informations are there. Now, any file which are available in the public domain, if the file is exposed on any one of the website, you can simply go and click and find it out. Okay. I don't want to go anywhere else. Okay. Because these are all risky things. Let me put my name. Are you all getting sense?
Sir,
Boys,
एक
girls?
question था यहाँ पे सर.
Yes, yes.
Sir,
Yes,
in
please.
cybervidyapit.in there are downloadable files जो brochures हैं.
लेकिन
Which
वो
we can download.
डायरेक्टली डाउनलोडेबल नहीं है, वो आपको फिल इन करना पड़ेगा फॉर्म, देन ओनली यू कैन डाउनलोड.
Okay. Okay.
तो वो
Right.
पब्लिक नहीं है, वो जो है ओपन वेब में नहीं है, वो क्लोज्ड वेब में है. And if you build that capability to go and fill up the document, forms, you can find the forms, then fill up the forms and then do it. You can make those scripts very quick. And regex works very well for that actually.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
So here, publicly exposed files refers to files that are there on the client end of the web page, but they are not accessible to a normal user. So this website basically gets that, or is it
No, it is available to the normal user.
something which you're not supposed to see
Whatever
on
is
server level?
available to the normal user, Osint is open source, okay? Whatever is open for it. If there is a captcha, it is not open. If there is a form, ID, password, it is not open. Okay?
Got it, sir, got it.
Yeah. So like that, you can, and all these things have been created through Python scripts, okay? You can create your own also. Find subdomains. Now, suppose I want to find subdomains of a, they are all subdomains. So many subdomains are there. It's going on and on, okay? So, you know that, there are multiple files, multiple pages, multiple subdomains of sbi.co.in. So you can go and search for that, okay? Don't do anything, obnoxious or hit the site down, okay? It'll land up in trouble. So we can.
ये जो वेबसाइट है सर, ये स्क्रिप्ट्स का ही यूज करके जो हम यहाँ पे डाल रहे हैं, वो स्क्रिप्ट बैकएंड पे स्क्रिप्ट यूज करके हमें रिजल्ट दे रही है.
Correct.
Right.
So you will find that here, there is no IP address available for that, okay? So which is okay, good sign. So I'll give you one thing very interesting, Okay, let's there is something known as Wayback Machine, okay? Which is nothing but Internet Archive. So many times the web pages gets deleted in the front side of the page. But Wayback Machine actually archive those websites for years together. So suppose some file has been created by an attacker or an hacker for some time, and the file has been deleted. There are ways to finding out in the Wayback Machines, which is Internet Archive. This becomes a very important tool for investigations. So there are many such example for that. I'll show you some interesting one which I have just searched it, because it takes time to search. So I did it for you and just keep it ready. So this was one of the searches we did, and let me just put it here.
So can this Wayback Machine be used to scrape information from a domain that has been taken down?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And you want to know the particular, person like Elon Musk? Okay, Elon Musk has written many tweets and he has deleted many tweets. Okay. Now you want to know that Elon Musk, tweet all the tweet that he has ever done. I want to find it out. Okay. So we are going to the Wayback Machine. We are putting twitter.com and / Elon Musk. Okay. You need to know the precise name. Okay. If you are not writing the precise name, it will give you the wrong results. So his the name is Elon Musk. Let's have a look what it gives. It takes some time. Okay. So just bear with me. So now you can start seeing it, and you can organize this, all these files you can organize with date wise and other things, in your things. Okay. It's all old tweets, which are available here. You know that, tweets get deleted and it's very difficult to search for that. More than 10,000 entries are here.
So does that mean that anything on the internet, like once it's out there, it's going to come to this Wayback Machine no matter what, even if you delete it or do anything?
I won't say anything, but it is many things actually. Yeah, anything I can't tell you,
Because
So
like if this particular user has deleted a tweet, even that has even that has come to this Wayback Machine, right? But
correct.
the user has never opted for it. So does that mean it's all an automatic process?
So you are right. It's available. I can't tell you that whether it is 100% everything is there. I don't know, because it's too big thing to know. But I know that when I search for it, I get it.
Okay.
Should I believe that that's everything? Maybe, possibly, and I can't give you the right answer for that because I don't have access to that information.
Okay, sir.
If I tell you yes, there is no way to prove it. If I say no, there is no way to prove it.
Got it, sir.
But a very interesting dimension of it, which provides a very, very, very weird part of information. Many times these informations are absolutely, no reason why it should be there in, you get it. For investigator is a very good way to do it. Okay. But if you do it through one by one, type it in Word, it doesn't work. So you need to know how to do it correctly. Okay. I'll take you to one more or two more examples for that, because that will give you some. Now you want to have, the GitHub docs. Okay. So there are way you can do that. Okay. So you want to find ST passwords. You want to find, these are the keywords, for credentials. Language is Bash. It isn't written in Bash actually. Okay. But Bash to, journey to this is not very difficult. You can find it out. You want to find the API key in any one of the open GitHub. Okay, all these things, what is open, okay, what is not open, you have no control on that. Okay, so it's all that, you want to search for that, and then you find the GitHub. Okay. And to find the user email ID of all the people on the GitHub, which is an open. GitHub has got many components. It has got something like an open web, open GitHub, where there is no need of any ID password. If you know the path, you can go and do it. Okay. And if you don't know the path, you can. So this is one of the way you can do it. Okay. So making notes is an important component of your journey. And why? Because if you're doing repetitive work, you should not waste your time for searching the same thing. And next time when you are searching, you may not get the same result also. You know that, the search engines manipulates the way you search. So you may not get the right information out of that. Once the Python class ends, we'll do the practical for everything that you are doing using the Python. At least 15, 20 practicals are there. We'll do it together. Okay. Okay. So what operating system will be used is a very important component. I recommend that, you should use Linux, any version of Linux. That's the first thing to do it. Second thing is that when you are using Linux, use bootable USB drive to do it. And make your, bootable USB drive such that every time you are doing only clean one. So better to use the SD card and lock it, if you want to lock that piece for learning purpose. Okay. And enable your VPN as a mandatory part of it. Never go without VPN to any websites at any point of time. Okay. And, you can change the targets here and there, whatever is required. Okay. Virtual machine is definitely a good choice. And as a matter of fact, if all of you are joining, forensic class, we'll take you through the basics of Kali Linux, which is a prerequisite for your success in Osint. So if you have not joined, join it, because that gives you a lever to learn something more deeper into it. Because there are forensics, when you do the forensics, web forensics, you use Osint for that purpose. So it will further fine tune your skills. Now, there are, you can use three options, dedicated physical systems. But physical system, when you are using it, then you need to definitely use Tor and plus proxies, socket proxies. It's not possible for everyone, but when you are setting it up, in your organizations, learn how to set up proxies in Kali Linux, okay, or any Linux. proxy server you can set up. You can have your own proxy servers, and you can create that. It's not very difficult to create it. If you're good at Linux, you will be able to do it. You have a choice of using virtual machines or a cloud platform sometime. You can utilize, but cloud platform means your identity is traceable. So just be careful about that. So if you are doing normal, corporate searches, cloud platform is a very good platform to do it, because you have got, particularly in EC2 instance or Microsoft Azure instance, you can have a IP address which are keep changing, every time. So you can take the advantage of that. Browser versus virtual browser. I think this is a very important concept that you need to understand. There are a lot of Osint focused virtual machines are there. Onion is there, is one which is a good one, which provides. And then there are many virtual browsers are there. Authenticate is a very good one. You can use that. But I love the black screens of Python or Bash programming, because that gives you complete control on that. Web browser many times get punctured, and it leaks out your information. So if you are doing normal searches, web browser is and there are a lot of add-ons are there on web browser, so you can utilize that. Firefox is another good one. You can use it, and a lot of good amount of add-ons are there for very targeted for. You can even do the virtual VDI you can set up on your machine, but you should know how to harden your VDI. But best thing to do it is to use external devices to log into your system. And when you are building the Osint capability in your corporate organization, you should know what are the requirements are there. So it is always good to have GPU based systems rather than CPU based systems. And then have multiple USB devices or multiple SD cards, and you should have the SD card slots available in your machines. Multiple slots, 2-3 slots of USB cards, SD cards. And those things can be done. Customizable version of Dell or Alienware have a better options there. So you want 10 SD cards, slots, they will provide you. They will customize and give it to you. For corporate buying is not a problem, but average machine cost will be 5 to 10 lakhs rupees for that. Okay. For your personal use any GPU based machine, that is fine. But if you are going for a full-fledged Osint and forensic capabilities, then it's good to have a good GPU based 32 GB RAM capabilities. VPN is a good way to do it. But if you are using a known VPNs, then IP addresses are known, and many times it gets blocked. So VPN, you need to know how to hide your IP address regularly. So it's instead of VPN, Tor plus proxies becomes a better option. You can create your own VPN, if you want it. You can create a server, VPN server. OpenVPN does provides you and having your own server, is good, but is not great, because sometimes it get busted and your identity get disclosed. Okay. But having a good VPN is definitely need of our. Yes, Sam Chauhanji, you have any questions?
Yes, sir. Why we need that much of SD card?
SD card is a better way of doing it, because SD card, I don't know whether you remember that. Have you recently seen that? There is a hardware blocker is there. So when you make the card and create an hardware blocker, nothing can be saved there. So getting compromised that card is very difficult. You won't be able to save it there on the same card. But if you are just going for browsing and checking at the first things, Hindi makes up, then टू लेने के लिए जा रहे हो, तो SD card is a very good option because then it does not get punctured. And if you are using USB device, there are a lot of USB devices are coming with a malware. SD card also comes with that, but if you are locking it, then chances of getting exposed is very low.
Okay, sir.
And while there are a lot of extensions are there like Privacy Badger, uBlock Origin, Firefox multi-accounts, containers, location guards, they are all very interesting, add-ons are there on the web browser. But I prefer going black screen. So learn Python, and that's the reason we are spending so much of time on Python. Learn Python well, then you should know all these things are searching is much easier with that. There are, good extensions, for recording your journey. Now, suppose if you are browsing, hundreds of pages through a script, you should know how to record the content of that pages. So Hunchly, is an excellent data recorder for Google. If you are searching on the Google and you want to do it, Hunchly provides you a very good recording activities. But this recording you can create on your Python scripts also. So it's nothing, no rocket science. When it actually does it, every page by page, it will record it. So when you run the request, learn request very well. Regex and request, is a beautiful soup library, is a very important library for your Osint. So regex, I think Anurag sir has really given significant amount of insight. It's a 15-20 days class. If I take the class, it will be minimum 15 to 20 days just to learn regex. Yeah, but that's a very long drawn process. So it will better to sometime learn it yourself, some of the components. But regex, beautiful soup, will help you a lot actually. And then there is every website, you should have your own. When you are going for a search, you should have a nice note of user ID and password. Okay, because many sites you cannot enter it unless you have the user ID, passwords, and an official email ID. You as a good Osint investigator, you should have at least 500, 800, IPs, and you can buy IP and then use that IP for purpose. Okay, it's a good way of doing that actually. Buy IP and DNS, and then your own websites, and use those for the mail received. Many organizations, they do not give you the mail on the open mails, like Gmail and Hotmail, they will block you. You can't create your own organization mail, so you can take a particular target IP address and a domain name, and then register it. Have your own mail account created somewhere, and then use that purpose. Okay, you can have your own SMTP boxes attached to that. Okay. There are ways of using beautiful soup. You can download images and videos from various sites, and there are very interesting way of doing that actually. With the help of regex, you can have the ID, many of the informations like telephone number, email ID, or any string which has common components. Those strings you can take it. You can use regex and take it out. Like you want to collect the email ID of all the universities of the world. So now university is a fixed component. So when you are searching, university becomes a fixed content. It will go and search for the university. So whatever page will come, those pages, it will go click and find out if there is a similar match is there on page for email ID, and take out those email ID against that name. And then you can save it, the path, the URL and the email ID, URL and email ID. And you want to put the university name also, you can take it. You want to take the photograph of that university logo and the name of the university, you can take that. And they are very, easily can be done with the help of regex actually, and a combination of beautiful soup that you will learn. One very important thing is that, what should be the data retentions, because data, you can't retain it forever. Because the storage will always be the limitation. So you'll have to find out, the way. So data retention is an important component in your journey. Second thing is the file naming conventions. When you are saving a file, you should have a very well laid out file saving name saving conventions attached to that. Third one is, where do you store the data? Is it in same machine's hard disk or an external drive? I suggest it's an external drive. It becomes little slower. Use 3.0 USB system. That's the reason I said that take the next generation machines with GPU based and high speed, uh, disk connectors. You should be able to achieve that actually. There are storage which are coming. I don't know whether you have seen it. I can, which are extreme type of disk, which saves 20 times, 30 times faster, or many times, 1,000 times faster than the normal disk. But those come for a very heavy price. So you'll have to decide, how much budget you have for that. And based on that, you can use some of those, extraordinary, disk saving capacity, which is very fast. Because if you have to hit and run type of operations where you want to dump the data as soon as possible, then you might end up using some of those super special disks, which provides you a good speed and accuracy actually. Next one is encryptions. It's always good to use encryptions in your disk, so that even if somebody tries to access your data, it should uh, not be simply accessible to anybody. So use a nice encryption, process. And there is a portion in Python which we are not going to cover as a part of Osint, but there is a crypt library is there, or PyDome library is there, PyDome crypt is there. You can utilize that for encrypting your data at rest. Data at rest means anything which is there in the disk. You can do file level encryptions. You can do the disk level encryption. You can do the pipeline level encryptions using SSL or SSH type of capabilities. So storage encryption and crypto, there are quite a number of. If you can see the Bhagwa color on the right of the black, PyCryptDome, PyNACL, cryptography.fernet, ByCrypt, cryptography Hazmat, PyOpenSSL, Paramico. There are a lot of, capability are there for data at rest and data in transit, encryption. Okay. In addition to that, if you are using the basic machines, you can utilize VeraCrypt. There is a nice container. BitLocker is there by default in the Windows. Mac OS has got File Vault 2. Linux, you have got Linux Unified Key setups. You can utilize that. But if you are looking for something more, then you have to create your own library in Python. Not use the same library what is I'm showing you here, and you can create your own crypt library. Even on the mobile device, if you are using it, whether the mobile device disk encryption or file encryption need to be done, that need to be seen. While browser user agent of a mobile can be a good option, and there are a lot of plugins around that which you can search, and if searching very well, the Google Doc, all this information you can search it like a click of button actually. Okay. Firefox, is having quite a bit of good options attached to that actually. One very important thing is that how to manage your passwords. One thing is never use passwords, use passphrase. And despite all the saying that you should never save your passwords, particularly if you are in Osint, I'll recommend not to use password locker or password manager. While they are recommended practice, you can use it. But if you are in a serious operations of Osint, it's better to use a handwritten notes for ID and password, and for particular identity, which particular ID you have used. Now, suppose you have login to your Linux machines when a particular ID, let's say the ID is Gizmo. The next ID you will have something XYZ. Now, suppose if you have used Gizmo, you have created a persona. Now, with that persona, there will be some browser, validations will be there. Suppose if you are going to a website with Gizmo as one of your user ID, then you should have a fixed, access and authentication program for all the website that you visit. Try to tag these two together, because many times when you go to a website, it asks you for ID and passwords. They take the fingerprint of your machines. Now, if you change that, they will have more information with them about you. So it is always good practice to use your identity, which is there for your basic OS login, and anything with that OS, you should have a separate identity created for every website you are going to visit as a part of your OSINT operation. Never use multiple, ID in the same, operating systems. For that, you need to have, either you can create a password manager in the same machines and use that password manager for that, or you can create a note with every, operating system you are using with an ID and passwords. You should have a detail of all the connected. Now, suppose you are going to SBI, you are going to some other site, XYZ site, all those might require some ID and passwords. Try to keep it, unique to that actually. One very important thing is that you should know how to build your bootable devices, and how to rebuild your, how to create an ISO image, and you can keep pumping that and creating a new ISO image every time you log in. Never create a ID and which keep using for years together. So you might end up doing some mistakes and your identity will get busted.
Sir, not understood this point. If you could explain it a little more, sir.
Yeah. So what happens, normally what happens, you log in with your window ID and passwords. Okay. You have a window machines, you log in with ID and passwords. Now, operating system, you have logged in with an ID and password. Now, when you are using OSINT, work, and particularly for critical agencies, in that case, it is good to not utilize the Windows systems. You should use an external bootable devices, which I was saying SD card. Okay. Now, you can use the same SD card 100 times, but I recommend that, you use it one time use only. Never use the same SD card and the same device for every time when you log in. Normally what happens in window, you log in forever, you keep login, and your footprints are left at the various websites wherever you go. Now, suppose if you have a different persona against the same machine, somebody is, doing an OSINT will find it out that these personas are one. So you leave your digital footprints outside every time you visit. So it is always good to create a persona, ID passwords, and go one time, no fingerprint left. Again, you create a new SD card or rewrite SD card with an ISO image. And there are ways to do that. If you join the forensics class, I'll share, you how to create your bootable image drive. We are going to do it for Linux, Kali Linux. And that you can see it on the YouTube also.
So,
Okay.
sir, does that mean that every time we do OSINT research, we have to change our operating system or we have to use a new SD card?
Operating system, you change it. Even if you don't change your SD card, at least operating system, you change it. But if it is a critical in operations, use and throw policy. Every time you use it a new policy. New IP address, new things. Everything new. So, you might end up, having a lot of sock puppets, which is anonymized names, APIs, registered sites, paid services, and there will be persona attached to those paid services. So managing these passwords and other things are a very complex process. You should know that, which window, which particular booted machine you have logged in for creating that ID. Because when they create the ID, they take some footprints about you. So keep a good track of that for yourself. Always create a nice password, strong passwords, that's the right thing to do. Preferably the long passphrase with, and never create a pattern in your passwords. If you create a pattern, you will end up in trouble. In Python, you have got a component known as getPass, okay, which is nothing but your password manager. There is a library. Learn the library and how to create your own password manager. Give me just 2 minutes. I'll take a break and come back. My sugar level is going down. So one of the very important, character of an Osint investigator is to be a very good research habit. And keep researching on that actually. And never leave it till you find the real factor on that, okay? Or if you are very, very systematic, which I told you as a part of the note taking, your efficiency will go up multifold actually. One more thing is that, when you are doing the searches, you have tendency to go away from your scope. Click, you read something very interesting, then you hook into that, you go deeper into that, then forget the main target. It's very common. Expect it to be. But a good, healthy research habit is all about staying focused on your scope. Never miss out that you are being tracked. It should become a habit in your making a digital silence is the first priority for being an Osint investigator. So stay safe in executing our work is a very important component, okay? Don't overboard and break ethics, okay? Avoid it unless you have been mandated to do so, okay? If you are not very focused, the timeline will go for a heavy, you may not get the right targets. Scope is not well defined, then it becomes very difficult to remain on the target every time. Whether you should connect to the social media with the real life target or not, you need to take a very important call. Whether you should join them in their group by any means, or you should avoid that. You have to take a very important call for that. Because the moment you try to look into the social media of others might be finicky about it and try to know about you. So having a good security practices, including the sock puppet, a real good sock puppet about it, with multiple footprints. So when you create a sock puppet, don't limit yourself that, you created sock puppet for one account. Now, suppose if you are created a sock puppet for Facebook, you same time create in WhatsApp, same time in Truecaller. It should be there in your Instagram. It should be there in LinkedIn. And it should be neatly done. And privacy of those accounts need to be maintained with the highest level, so that no other information is visible to anybody unless you want them to make it visible. It's a very good practice. If you follow that practice, then entering into the social media of others with a sock puppet. Suppose if you are trying to enter into a group of a hacker, I'll give you an example for that. Now those hacker group is busted already, is known as Genosec. When I entered around 6 years back, they were dysfunctional. I can show you that group now. It is busted and now it is blocked forever. Now they have created another new one. Okay, so there was a Genosec team. Okay. Now this channel is blocked now because it violated some local law. Okay. I was giving an example for that. Okay. So I entered into their group as early as 2016, actually, when it got created. When it got created, I knew these groups are doing something funny. And many times it is anti-India, anti-Israel approach. So I had a complete, profile created for that group. And this group was having Malaysian, Indonesians, and some people from Ghana. So I had a Malaysian identity. Okay. And anything of Malaysia, I was having that. Okay. I will not, is a confessional statement, so not disclose that. But anything of Malaysia, I had that. Okay. And we were able to track them to the things that which particular attack they are going to do against India. And many times we used to have even the scripts run for that. Level was that. So going into and accessing a social media account of your target is not as straightforward as it is. Particularly for special agencies, they need to be very careful that you need to have the complete sock puppet created for that identity actually before touching it. Otherwise, getting busted is very easy because these guys, they are real good hackers. You should know all the arts for reaching them. Now they are blocked, so I can go and touch that account, but it was not possible earlier. Are you all getting sense of, bit of urgency of these topics? And
Yes, sir.
engaging your target is the worst thing you should do it actually. Because that can actually, you should avoid that actually. Never engage a target. Remain silent. Just keep giving answer what they ask you to give. And many times when you are part of that community, you need to give some information which they ask for it. If you don't give it, they know that you are not right. Many times they'll test you that you are part of that community or part of outside community. And you will have to prove that you are part of the community. So many times you will have to give some information which are critical. But if you don't give it, they'll take you out of that group. So engaging them is the toughest job, Avoid that, as much as possible. Doing safely and legally is important, unless you are part of, special agencies where you have authority to do that. Otherwise, avoid anything doing unethical or illegal. Yeah, being part of the community and knowing them and sharing information to the special agency is okay. That's fine. That's a part of the good job that you do for your being a good countryman. So sensitive data, there are a lot of should have, process of encrypting the data if unless you have it. Okay. Sock puppet is an important concept and we should not forget when we are deep into the Osint. Okay. We need to ensure that accounts we use to perform our Osint are not connected to real world account. We should use only for certain accounts with specific customers. Some system can track what our accounts are doing, and this is poor operational security. If you are logged into the synchronized service in browser and perform searches, those can be recorded and your further search result may be tailored. Are you getting my point? This is a very important point. You may miss important data in future. So when you are doing something in the search engine or in some browser, and next time when you are searching the same thing, you may not get the same data, or you may be getting a misleading data. And it is quite possible because of manipulation of the browsers as well as the search engines, which happens as a part of the journey. One more thing is that when you visit a website, with your real accounts, and you are not doing anything there, your ID can become a suspicious ID, and they can tag it. If 10 organizations tag you that your IP address is a blacklisted IP, you are finished. That IP is busted actually. And the other side of the world, they will start doing OSINT on you to find out who you are. We need to ensure that accounts we use to perform our OSINTs are not connected to the real world. We should use only certain accounts of specific customers. Very, very important, concept that we need to remember. No investigation can be finished in time. You need to be very focused about it. Always start with the most trustworthy sites and work towards less trustworthy. Because many times, website give you wrong information. And it can lead you to some different assessment altogether. So, always try to finish your things with trustworthy site. Unless it can't be, then we can go and venture to some other sites. Start with a site that give you the most good result. Over a period of time, you learn that, this site gives the better results. Or a particular script provide you the right information. And keep track of that and see that, which are the one which are giving you the good result. Start with a site that give you highly relevant data. Consider increasing the scope of investigation if the time allows. Otherwise, for one investigation, you can work for years together. It doesn't. You have to know where to chop off your investigations. There is no limit to it, actually. Otherwise, you are not finishing your investigation on time. The OSINT process has to be very, very, structured. It has to be reliable. And you should be in a position to be flexible yet constant to your goal. Results should be repeatable. Process has to be repeatable. Otherwise, you are going in a long loop, actually. Maintain the privacy of your customer, and yield meaningful results. A walkthrough, in your drawing board or in your own process, in your own brain, you should definitely have it before starting the investigation. As a good, expert OSINT investigator, you already, the moment you see the problem statement, you close your eyes and your steps are well planned. That is the most ultimate goal of, doing it correctly every time. But be flexible also. It's not being a constant doing same thing and give the good result. This time also will come the good result. Not necessarily true statement. So be flexible as well. And you should know how to test, try and trust a particular finding. You should have your own parameter or barometer for that, actually. It's always good to have a clean OSINT platform. I've told you that, that your machine can be punctured, the malware can be infected, your identity can be revealed. You never know. Whenever you go to a small website, they will send you a cookie. You'll have to save those cookies. Those cookie is taking some information about your credentials. You never know what exactly they are doing it. So having a clean Osint platform every time you go for that, it's a great thing to do it. Gather customer requirement very categorically. What the customer want. If you're doing an investigation, you should know what is the expectation of the customer at the end of it. So what is your motive? Will this support the legal action? Do you need results? What data you already have it? And how you are going to fine tune your result for successful completion of the OSINT work. See, a typical journey for OSINT starts with, tactices, techniques, and procedures. Tactices are always high level. Techniques can keep changing, here and there to make it successful. But follow the right path of tactics, techniques, and procedures to make you successful. But sometime giving a surprise on procedure and is a good way to ditch your target actually. Conceptually, this is a very, very big subject. I don't know whether you have seen Mitre attack. Any one of you are aware about Mitre attack?
No, sir.
Okay. It's a bit of digression, but I think you should know it. So Mitre attack, has mapped how the attackers, cyber attackers, actually complete a goal. And what is the beginning and what is the end of the goal? So it all starts with reconsa, knowing your organizations, okay? And then it goes to the last level, which is exfiltration and the real, impact that it causes, okay? So, sorry, it has gone off. Okay. So you'll find that, there are, the top level is the tactics. Reconsa is a tactics. They do it, okay? The resource development is a tactics. Initial access is a tactics. Execution is a tactics. And then when you go into the active scanning, gathering victim host information, gather victim identity information, they are all techniques. How you do that? You can send the phishing information, phishing mail or phishing messages, search closed sources. So these are all techniques. Now, suppose if you want to detect an attacker, somebody has created a trap for you, which I call it deception techniques. They will try to catch you anywhere here. They will try to catch you in any one of the techniques that when you're using, detect it, and they respond to the attacker. So if you are following the straight path, then somebody, a smart guy, can find you while you are doing the elevation of control mechanism or anywhere, any one of the techniques. And then you can bust your operation. So as a good, OSINT professional, sometime not following the path and creating its smart changing of techniques and procedures can be a very smart way for deceiving the defenders actually. And from offender perspective, it is good to create a trap so that known procedures, known techniques can be busted at many stages. In any stage you get busted, your hacking operations can be blocked altogether. So this is a very conceptual, process, the TTPs. This class is not for that. So, but I hope that give you a sense of, why you need to follow a process, and sometimes why need to not to follow a process or techniques, same technique which has been done in the past, can cause a detection or can cause a successful journey. If you follow standard TTPs, then it takes less time for your journey. Because creating a new technique is not a small job. It's a very, very difficult job. A good flowchart creation is a great thing for a programmer and a great thing for Osint player. And if you, and this flowchart is very simple, it is a chart for research on email, domain, real name and username, phone number and location. These are the 4-5 output is expected out of this process. So I don't know whether you are able to see let me see if I can increase the size and can show you. So username, potential email address, email assumptions, have I been pawned, hacked email, email address. If you want to know about username, search engines, Google, Bing, Yandex. Intel techniques used for the search tool, Novem, choke user, check user, name wine, user Sherlock, user search, pick Yorker, people. These are the search engine for the people. Okay. This provide you a user-based searches you want to do, then these are the websites, are very interesting websites. And then, you can go to the social networks, then find more about it. And you can go to the Twitter, Instagram, Google, Facebook, Twitter. So there is a well laid out process for searching an email address, domain, real name, user, phone, location, other things. Follow a proper process, write a nice script to use those processes and automate that process so that journey can become, instead of months, to just few seconds. And still follow the path where techniques and procedures can be changed little to remain a deceptive persona. Any question in this page, and any thought?
Sir, if we keep on searching for a particular username this much, won't it indicate that person that someone is searching for them?
No, that not necessarily true statement, but yes, the search engine will know that you are searching this person. If search engine is being maintained by intelligence agency, they know that this person's names are being searched, and it can be a good trap for you. But you'll have to keep searching with minimum footprints. So suppose you are just searching, for a US citizens, use the US citizens, every identity, use their SSN number, their name, their email ID and everything. Be smart, don't be dumb. And you will learn it over a period of time. You learn it. It's not a simple subject. It's a complex subject.
Sir, is there any possibility for our internet service providers to track this?
Come on, guys. Can you put yourself on mute, please? Can
Sir,
you
actually,
repeat
the
the
question
question?
was, can ISPs track us when we are doing all these things, even if when we are using VPNs?
Difficult question. I'll not like to answer the questions. Yes or no, both answers are there. If you are a person of interest for law enforcement agencies, possibly, yes, you are being tracked. But if you are anonymous, you are using Tor with proxies, no nodes are punctured, possibly you are in good position. You are not being tracked by ISPs. Okay. So create new storage area for your investigation data and files, screenshot, download content, whatever you are using, template, SOP, note taking, create that new version of populated to the customer seed data, write everything down, type all things in your system, whatever is there, and save it in external devices, draw pictures, diagrams, important connectivity that you see in your network, in your work. Gathering data, this is the core for your assessment, visiting website, performing searches, scraping data, using Osint tools, using customer seed data of assessment goals to gather additional related data on your target, collecting data from all the sources that are relevant, then pivoting those data points to continue the investigation until we have reached to the client Osint goal. Analyzing of the data is a very simple triad. It's a triad which is known as data, information, and intelligence. First one is operational environment, from where you start searching, then you generate data. Among the data, you further, deep dive and find some information. Then information is blended with human intelligence to generate actionable intelligence. So this is the journey for your analyzing data. And it has to be repetitive process. Collect data, analyze data, determine and collection goals. And if your goal is successful, you stop there. Otherwise, go and collect data more, analyze the data, and come back to the determine and collection goals. So gathering leads to analysis. Analysis leads to finding gaps that drives further collection of goals. Repeat the process until your dream is met, your journey is met. And finally, create a nice report for your customer, whoever is there. Then clean the systems, don't keep the systems, once everything is done, case is closed. If you want to keep the evidence for the law enforcement agency, then save the SD card and keep everything ready for further making it repeatable, and evidence can be gathered in a real, digital forensic way. And, reports, you can always make a nice reports, and make it a repeatable process. Make a nice format for the reports and populate those formats based on the relevant information. Don't create report every time. It has to be structured every time. Okay, so give me 1 second. Any question from any one of you?
Sir,
Yes, please.
So when we install a virtual machine on our computer, it's going to have a unique IP address. Now, if I